patriotism and common man or people's patriotism. This comes after the Congress government decided to review chapters included by the previous BJP government, which, remember, had revised the state syllabus and added lessons on the founder of the RSS.
ಹೆಡ್ಗೇವಾರು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಸಾಬೀತು ಮಾಡಲಿ. ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಕೋರಿದಂಥ ಈ ನಕಲಿ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಮಾನ್ಯತೆ ನೀಡಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾರೋ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಗೋಡ್ಸೆಯು ಕೂಡ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಭಕ್ತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಇವರ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಭಕ್ತಿಗೂ ಜನಸಾಮಾನ್ಯರ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಭಕ್ತಿಗೂ ಭಾಳ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇದೆ. ಲಕ್ಷಾಂತರ ಜನ, ಸಾವಿರಾರು ಜನ ಪ್ರಾಣತ್ಯಾಗ ಮಾಡಿ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಕೊಟ್ಟವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಪಮಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯವರಾಗಲಿ, ಸಂಘ ಪರಿವಾರದವರಾಗಲಿ, ಹೆಡ್ಗೇವಾರ್ ಅವರು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಪತ್ರ 6 ಬಾರಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಭಾಳ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಆದ ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಚಿತ್ರಗುಪ್ತ ಅಂತ ಅವರೇ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಇಂಥ ರಣಹಿಡಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಪಠ್ಯಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ.
Dr. Hedgewar is a founder of national cultural building, nationalism, national cultural. We should not ignore, disrespect him. We should have the courtesy to respect him.
It is their version because they have never understood children's mentality and what they are supposed to give for children's. BJP are so corrupt in their mind, which they wanted to infuse in the system of studies, which we are against it.
This is not an astonishing thing. When Siddaramaiah became the Chief Minister, every time Chief Minister takes his total administration is vendetta.
Now, before we get into the politics or why does the Congress actually want to remove these lessons in various textbooks as far as Karnataka is concerned, let's first understand who Hedgewar was and why are we seeing a political row around him. Now, Hedgewar comes from a Telugu family and he in fact founded the RSS in 1925. What did he believe in? He believed that practicing the dharma would regain India's pre-old glory, and thus he thought and founded the RSS, as we pointed out, in 1925. Let's talk about the people he was inspired by. He was inspired by the heroic fights and bravery of Shivaji. Another person who had a deep impact as far as the life of Hedgewar was concerned was Savarkar. What we're also understanding is he's someone who participated in the non-cooperation movement as well. But now let's cut to 2023 and let's understand what's happening in Karnataka as far as this entire textbook row is concerned. What is the textbook row? What is the kind of chapters that have been included? What does it say as far as the syllabus and curriculum is concerned? Now, what we are understanding is that Hedgewar's speech was in fact incorporated as far as the class 10th curriculum was concluded. What we are also understanding is it was included for students who opted for Kannada as their first language. What does the chapter actually talk about? The chapter talks about, quote unquote, who really is a good role model. Now let's shift our focus as far as the politics around it is concerned and why are we seeing a political war of words as far as the Congress and the BJP are concerned. So let's break down the details in terms of what is the Congress's position and why they want to omit these chapters and what is the BJP's counter to that. The Congress is saying there is no contentious chapter as far as Hedgewar is concerned. Here the BJP is saying that the Congress is mocking history. They are saying this is just vendetta politics. It's tit for tat. Let's break down some other details of what the Congress is saying. The Congress is also saying we cannot allow lessons on cowards. They're saying that this is saffronization as far as the syllabus is concerned. The BJP is saying the Congress erases those not part of their history. So while the counter from the Congress is that this was saffronization of the syllabus, the BJP is saying today doesn't suit your narrative, so you want to omit these lessons. The Congress is also saying we don't have to learn anything as far as the BJP is concerned. The BJP is saying people will teach them a lesson. But the larger question here also is the timing of when all of this is happening. School sessions have already started, textbooks have already been given to the students. So is this really a rational decision at this point of time? The Congress is also saying syllabus corrections are necessary. The BJP is saying the syllabus actually cannot be changed and it's not needed at this point of time, as I pointed out, because the textbooks have already been given to the students and the session has already started. But let's bring in our guest to try and understand, Is this change really needed? Are there rational points that are being made as far as the Congress is concerned? We have political analyst Karuna Gopal, who's joining us, and we also have political analyst George Kurian, who's also joining us. Good evening. Thank you to both of you for joining us here on CNN News 18. George, I'd like to begin the conversation first with you. Before I even jump into the entire political war of words that we've seen between the BJP and the Congress, the timing of when the Congress wants to do this. The session for the students has already started. Textbooks have already been given. Is this a wise move?
Well, a very good evening to your views, Ridhima. Let me make it very clear to your audience that, it is nothing to do with the timing. As an education minister, one can always send the circulars to the education board and all things, and we can undo the portions or provisions in the education as far as the chapters are concerned, which brings in kind of saffronization and things like that. We also need to take into account that RSS is an organization which is unregistered. They don't pay income tax. They don't have a register to take account of their members. And so why does the Congress party, or for that matter, somebody who is actually in the interest of the students and in the interest of the state would want somebody who headed an organization which is unregistered in the first place. And so having said that, this process will definitely take time, because this proposal will be kept in the first cabinet meeting, and approval is undoubtedly going to be given by the Chief Minister himself, Mr. Siddaramaiah, because he himself was, when BJP was in power, they tried to bring in all these portions into the curriculum and into the syllabus. And as a secular party, Congress party would never want the children's mind to be, distracted into saffronization, and because this is a very tender age when students can get molded. So keeping all these parameters into mind, Congress party is determined and will get it changed, or anything to do with, because we want to include freedom fighters, people who made
you're saying you want to make this inclusive. You do want to talk about freedom fighters who worked for the country's independence. So why don't you see Hedgewar as a freedom fighter? What are your concerns? Why do you want these omissions? Because the BJP today is saying the Congress is indulging in vendetta politics. This is mocking history.
Well, as I said earlier, Ridhima, there is no point keeping somebody which organization doesn't exist in place with respect to any accountability. They don't have any accountability as such, and they had, if you remember, they had admitted and said that they will not indulge in any kind of politics, and that's how they were reinstated after being banned earlier. So I strongly believe that they're trying to bring in into the power-centric political arena. They want to bring in their importance, and they want to show that. So there is no point keeping somebody where the organization doesn't hold any value.
Okay. Karuna, now I want to understand from you, why is these textbooks, omissions, revisions, additions, why are they becoming such a big deal? Because the counter that's coming in from the Congress is, when the BJP was in power, you did exactly the same. So today, why are you training your guns as far as the Congress is concerned? If you go back to the BJP regime, chapters and people like Ian Mutirao and many others removed as well. So there were changes made to the textbook and the curriculum even under the BJP regime. So why is it such a big issue when the Congress is doing exactly that?
Good afternoon, Ridhima. I think it's very important that Congress should have to understand, accept the inconvenient truth that Hedgewar was indeed a freedom fighter. They have to accept it. Let me give you a certain patch. They have peddled a lot of lies in the past. They're still peddling a lot of lies. In fact, I heard the MLC gentleman speaking and saying that he has put up a lot of mercy petitions. He doesn't seem to understand how many others have done it and in what circumstances they had to do it. He had absolutely no clue. So Congress does peddle a lot of lies. And let me give you a little bit of a background to also the person who's perhaps representing Congress. First of all, look at Hedgewar. He is perhaps the youngest patriot the country ever had. He was rusticated from his school when he shouted Vande Matram. He went on to studying medicine. He never practiced medicine because he flung himself into the freedom fight.
Okay.
And when the Congress blames that he never allowed RSS to participate in Satyagraha and Dandi March, that's an absolute lie. Someone who actually bothers to really dig deeper will understand that he has told everyone that they can participate in their individual capacities and not as perhaps the organization. So people have to really open their eyes, dig deeper, and not succumb to the lies peddled by Congress.
Okay.
Congress, if you see, typically, they are wanting to basically ban everything. They want to ban Bajrang Dal, but they want PFI. It was only under their regime.
No, Karuna,
PFI
the counter that is actually coming in from the Congress is that we have an issue if a certain narrative is being pushed as far as education and syllabus is concerned. So according to the Congress, there was a saffronization of the narrative which the Congress now wants to undo.
Ridhima, the simplest thing is he was a freedom fighter. If they really bother to understand and go back into history, they would know that he worked very closely with Mahatma Gandhi, with Tilak, with Subhash Chandra Bose. They were all with him on stage. And why don't they dig up the truth? Why don't they understand? Why don't they make efforts to know all this? So they want to just label him as a saffron leader. And I heard my colleague say that, there is no entity as that. But today, what is RSS? RSS has crores of people, and RSS is actually keeping up the dharma of this country. And the political arm has 11 crore people. So he is the man behind this army of patriots.
George,
so they want to do it, it is vendetta politics, and it's ridiculous that they are victimizing children who children have to know the truth. They have to understand the history of the country. And how can they completely remove someone who has fought from his very childhood?
So the BJP is saying we only see this as vendetta politics. This is just tit for tat. I in fact was speaking to BC Nagesh, who's the former education minister of Karnataka, earlier in the day, and he said these are just some frustrated Congress leaders because they want to be in the limelight. Keeping that aside, George, could you help me understand the timing of when these announcements are being made? The newly elected Congress government is facing a lot of criticism in terms of the guarantees that they had promised. We're not seeing implementation. We're seeing conditions being applied, for example, the Guru Lakshmi scheme and many others. So what is the Congress's priority today after being voted to power? Is it the implementation of the guarantees that were listed in the manifesto, or is it undoing everything that the BJP did?
Well, let me reassure to the audience and the people of Karnataka that the Congress party is determined. They are determined and they are focused to implement all the guarantees that, as promised before the elections. And there are set guidelines to all the guarantees that comes with it. So the course will take certain time, but I'm sure it's going to be in this financial year itself. And coming to the topic of the day, let me make it very clear that the Congress party, or for that matter, the BJP is the last party or the organization or the saffron brigade that the Congress party would want to take any sermons from them with respect to RSS and the ideology that it with respect to. I don't want to elaborate on what they had the importance with respect to freedom, independence, of the country. So having said that, Congress is just trying to undo all that the BJP, when they were in power, they tried to inculcate into the syllabus of the textbooks.
That's why, George, I was asking you, what is the priority? Priority of what you promised in the manifesto, priority of undoing everything that the BJP did in the past regime? Well, that's a call that the Congress will have to take. Unfortunately, I'll have to leave that conversation there. Karuna and George, always a pleasure speaking to the both of you. Let's shift our focus to the other big story that we're tracking at this hour, which is news coming in from Tamil Nadu. Now, the controversy over sexual harassment charges against veteran Tamil lyricist Vairamuthu doesn't seem to be dying down anytime soon. After popular singer Chinmay Sripada, another singer, Bhuvna Session, has also spoken out against the lyricist. Now, she has said that in an interview in 2018 that she had a horrible experience with Vairamuthu and the incident happened almost 20 years ago. The singer further claimed that she carried the pain in her heart for years and she didn't speak out earlier because she was scared. CNN News 18 then spoke exclusively to the singer. She says that her son encouraged her to speak out against Vairamuthu.
In 2018, you also spoke up against Vairamuthu on the ordeal that you went through. take us through what really happened. Has there been any action taken? You filed a complaint with the National Commission for Women, NCW. What has been the update in that case?
Right. I'd like to reiterate before we speak anything that the reason why I came out with my story in 2018 was to substantiate what the other girls, the younger girls were saying. Because my story happened way back in 1998. So I have nothing to show as proof or evidence or anything like that, because our conversations were either in person or through a landline phone. So there was nothing to show. But the purpose behind sharing the story was to tell people that, yes, he is capable of that because it happened to me. Because even now, the same thing is happening. We haven't progressed. Maybe, you have technology, but where have we progressed, here or here? We have not progressed. And back in those days, I was very, very crushed. But today, I want to fight for the younger girls who are trying to do something with their lives and with their talents. How many people are silenced? How many people are scared to even come out because of the social media backlash? And every victim, I don't know where any politics or religion or caste or anything comes when it comes to a woman's honor. And everybody is, immediately building screenplays around every accusation. How will anybody talk out, especially the younger girls? How are they going to do it?
You know what happened? You had filed a complaint with the NCW. Ever since then, was a complaint registered? Did the police actually start investigating the case?
Police investigated with Chinmay, not with me, because I was a nobody. I'm still a nobody in the industry. So they questioned Chinmay. But after that, nothing happened. Nothing moved. Nothing moved forward. And there are always, a social influence, a political influence, and so much associated with these things that it's so difficult for things to move, and then they get diluted. Because I'm almost sure what is going to be the impact of talking about this in 2023 again is going to be more social media abuse and backlash for us. Nothing else. And if you look at it, it's only me and Chinmay. We have been doing it's independent fights. Individual independent fight. She has her problems. I have my problems. She has much bigger problems because she's been banned and things like that. Like I said, I have nothing to lose or gain. So I'm doing a different thing. I have a different purpose to coming out with this. But I don't think this is going to move forward unless the laws become strict and unless somewhere the mindset changes that, you want to listen to an accusation and then you build your stories around it. That's okay. But then listen first.
Do you regret that the entire Tamil industry remains silent on this issue, not really wanting to offer support to people like you and Chinmay?
Yes, I'm upset about it. Yes, if you ask me, I'm terribly upset about it. And the silence is so deafening, if you ask me. The silence is so deafening. And if at all anybody has come out with it, a couple of people have supported the Me Too movement in general, not particularly against Madhu. They have supported the Me Too movement in general. Otherwise, people who have spoken about it have always asked, why so late? Every industry. I'm not even restricting it to the film industry. Since this is involved with the film industry, I'm particularly saying that the unions will have to interfere and at least have a dialogue. If not anything, at least you call and talk and have a dialogue. It would make us feel a little good.
Now, singer Chinmay Sripada has also been vocal since she accused the veteran Tamil lyricist Vairamuthu of sexual harassment. Speaking exclusively to us here at CNN News 18, she's gone on to say that she still awaits justice and slams the Tamil Nadu government over its inaction. Let's listen in.
As of now, there are generally news reports, that is being shared in social media, saying that the Tamil Nadu government has offered him, a house under the so-called dream home, project. So that's the whole point. We can all keep screaming ourselves hoarse, but forget the concept of an inquiry or even any justice done to any of us. They will be very swift to ban us and to erase our careers while they keep giving him a house, inviting him to government events and stuff like that. So that's how it has been working, and it is across all parties in Tamil Nadu. Almost all parties in Tamil Nadu and politicians have platformed Mr. Vairamuthu in some way, form or the other.
And the lack of support from the industry is what is most disheartening, Chinmay, isn't it? That's what the other victim also told us.
That's true. And because, see, as you well know, a lot of people from the industry have segued into politics. And thereafter, there's a lot of, I think, it's quite incestuous that way. Somebody from here is there, somebody from there is here. And naturally, everybody remains silent. I mean, it's okay if they remain silent, but many of them have gone all out to, shame women who have spoken out about in the Me Too movement, particularly shame me, or just conveniently remain silent and do the same thing as to why didn't you speak up at that point? And you remain silent because it was convenient. The same usual drama and the same usual dialogue that everybody is there all the time.
These allegations come to the fore, like you said yourself, it's not going anywhere.
It won't even get to any legal battle. They'll quash it right then and there and say nothing has happened. There is no proof. Nobody has come forward. There is nobody else. They'll quash it right then and there. The entire system here is intent on protecting Mr. Vairamuthu. It's not going to change. Tamil Nadu is a safe. Tamil people, even a lot of Tamil people across the world, unequivocally and fully, completely support him. So there is no chance for us to get any justice. That's all. I know I will not get justice. At least I needn't have been banned, and I don't have to be, going to court for my right to work in an industry where I'm quite talented. But they actively went to ban me.
And as far as this entire row is concerned, we're also now getting the DMK's first reaction. TK Selangovan of the DMK has now spoken to us here at CNN News 18, and he's gone on to say that no police complaints have been filed. So how can the police really take action? Remember, the criticism against the DMK has been that they're shielding Vairamuthu. So the DMK is now saying we're actually not protecting anyone. Let's listen in to what TK Selangovan had to say.
Bhuvana has come forward and said that 5 years on, no action has been taken, no inquiry was conducted. How does the DMK respond to this?
On what? On any complaint? Have they preferred any complaint with the police? If the police had not taken action, have they approached the police authorities to take action? I don't think so. I don't know that there is a complaint about all this.
They haven't filed a police complaint.
Then what do they want to see? Has it happened in the public where police can watch and take suo motu action? I think. See, when somebody accuses the BJP leaders or somebody, then suddenly these people come up and make counter charges. That was what Chinmayi's case I had seen. I had not seen any complaint preferred. If she had given a complaint, the police would have taken action. So it is the police duty. It is not a political issue.
So DMK is not protecting Vairamuthu.
See, it is not a political issue. It is a police matter. If somebody is hurt by any method, they should prefer a complaint with the police station and the police should take action. That is how the system is. They cannot come to the media and talk about these things. I don't understand what is the meaning of it. I don't know. In fact, this is news to me. I have heard Chinmayi speaking about Vairamuthu at that time. That was when the ADMK was in power. I don't know whether she had preferred a complaint and the ADMK government did not take any action. I don't know. I must check with only Chinmayi knows. It is not a recent complaint. Both the complaints were not recent. Not after 21. How will we be responsible for that? They should have preferred complaint with the police authorities, and if the police authorities fail to take action or conduct inquiry into it, investigation into it, then they should approach the police officials. What is politics in it? Just because you are attached to a political party, you cannot claim that this is a political issue.
But all victims are saying it's not one political party. All the political parties so far have not come out in support of such complaints of the Me Too movement. It was the ADMK government in 2018. Now from 2021 it's the DMK. All political parties, including the BJP, they say, has not really supported them, and they are playing politics using Chinmayi's name.
These people are playing politics. They should have put pressure on the police to take action. They should have filed a petition to the court that the police is not taking action. They have every avenue open for them. They should.
So the DMK there reacting after another singer has come to light, making similar charges like Chinmay Sripada against the lyricist Vairamuthu. The DMK saying there was no complaint, so we couldn't have taken any action. We're not protecting anyone. We'll keep tracking all those developments. Time for us to slip into a very short break. We're coming back with lots more.
That they can get away with these kinds of murders. And when the people who have committed these kinds of crimes don't get punished, then also I think they think that they can go scot-free after committing crimes. And somehow I think how we should raise our sons, that we need to think, the families need to think that morally how we should raise our sons and how society can change the way of thinking of our boys, men.
Now, in such kind of relationships where there is an abusive partner, a sociopath or a psychopath, and these women are living for 3, 5, sometimes even 10 years, how could they not know? How could they not figure out that their partner is a psychopath?
Jaka, yes, they do know, but there is a battered wife syndrome also. That women also get used to these kinds of behavior of their partner, and that is the syndrome. And they really need counseling from a psychologist if they are going through that, because they are used to. These men, what they do is when they misbehave with a woman, the second time they will, they will pardon themselves, they will say sorry, and they will again shower them with gifts and love them, and they take them back. Women take them. That is called battered wife syndrome. And many of our girls, even in Shraddha's case, we have seen that she was going through tough time with that boy, but still she was living with that person. It was because of that. They don't know that they have to go to a counselor, somebody and ask help. They don't know how to walk out of that relationship when they are, beaten up or they are harassed mentally or physically.
One other thing that we've noticed, ma'am, is that oftentimes these kinds of victims of such harsh abuse, they are secluded away from their family, from their friends. They have no support system of any kind. What are the signs that one needs to pick up if somebody happens to be living in an abusive relationship, there is physical violence and so on? What should one look out for?
In every relationship, it is very, very important that a person has support system, whether from family or friends, and share their problems to the persons they are close to. But in Indian society, especially women don't, share their problems outside a relationship. They think that they have to protect that relationship from outside world, and even if that is abusive relationship, they don't share. So first thing is, if you are feeling that somebody is abusing you, even verbally, you should walk out of this and share it with your friends. It is very important because they will give you a suggestion, and family also need to support their children.
All right.
If they are supporting, these kinds of things will not happen. Earlier also I said, and many people disagreed with me, which is okay. But families need to support their children, even if they are having a live-in relationship. In that way, I think they will be able to share if they are going through any problem.
Okay, Rekha Sharma, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how this story plays out. This is, of course, the latest in a series of very, very violent crimes, almost inhuman crimes, where not only is the victim, the woman in these cases, murdered, but also the body is disposed of in the most brutal of fashions.
The murder of Shraddha Walker sent shockwaves across the nation. Her partner Aftab murdered and then dismembered her body, dumping her parts in a nearby forest. Now, a similar horror has emerged from the maximum city, where a 56-year-old man has been arrested for allegedly murdering his live-in partner and chopping her body into pieces.
There was a tree cutter, there was a saw cutter that was present inside the hall as well as the bedroom. There was a polythene, there was a black plastic which was put on the bed. Her hair were cut and kept there. There were parts of her leg which were being found by the cops.
इन्वेस्टिगेशन में ऐसा रिवील हो चुका था कि एक कपल था, लिव इन रिलेशन में रह रहा था उधर. उनका आइडेंटिफिकेशन हो चुका है. अक्यूज्ड को भी अरेस्ट किया गया. जो डेड बॉडी के पीसेस मिले वो एनालिसिस के लिए हमने जेजे हॉस्पिटल में भेजे हैं.
The accused, identified as Manoj Sani, was staying with 32-year-old Saraswati Vaidya. Decomposing body parts were found in the home, and the police say the murder could have occurred 2 to 3 days back. Police have recovered 13 body parts and are trying to find where the rest were dumped. As per the FIR, the police have recovered a tree cutter that was smeared with blood and say that human flesh was kept in a bucket near the kitchen. Sources say the accused used to boil the body parts in a cooker in an attempt to hide the smell, but the neighbors raised the alarm.
मैंने फर्स्ट टाइम इंटीमेट किया था, मतलब मेरे को स्मेल आई थी तो मुझे ऐसा लगा था कि हाँ कुछ इश्यूज है इधर, लेकिन मुझे लगा नॉर्मली कोई माउस चूहा मर गया रहेगा तो उसकी स्मेल आ रही, स्टिंग आ रही है. लेकिन 2 दिन कंटिन्यू आ रही थी. वो कैसे आ रही थी? आफ्टरनून और नाइट में आती थी, मॉर्निंग और इवनिंग में नहीं आती थी.
Forensic teams are trying to unearth more evidence, but the accused has floated a theory that Saraswati committed suicide and he did not want to be blamed for her death. The police is not buying it.
एक बंदा है मनोज सानी करके और उसकी वाइफ थी वह सरस्वती वैद्य करके. सरस्वती वैद्य की उसने हत्या की है और उसने उसका डिस्पोज ऑफ करने के लिए उसका पीसेस करने का ट्राई किया है, ऐसा प्राइमरी इन्वेस्टिगेशन में निष्पन्न हुआ है.
From Shraddha Walker to Saraswati Vaidya, both women targeted by their partners, then murdered in the most barbaric fashion and butchered to hide the evidence. The big question remains, what explains this mindset? Bureau Report, CNN News 18.
Before we open this up to our guests who will be joining us in a moment, I want to first go across to the chairperson of the National Commission for Women, Rekha Sharma. Thank you.
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. Now, days after violence in Kolhapur over a controversial WhatsApp status which glorified Mughal rural Aurangzeb, the NCP chief Sharad Pawar, Uddhav faction, the Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut, even his brother Sunil Raut, they received death threats. The Chief Minister Eknath Shinde then tweeted to Twitter and said that he has spoken to senior police officers on the ground and Sharad Pawar's security cover has also been increased. The NCP also at this point is staging massive protest over the death threats and also the comment that has been made by BJP MLA Nitesh Rane, who, remember, in a post on social media called Sharad Pawar a reincarnation of Aurangzeb. So politics continues to erupt as far as the violence is concerned. The political war of words has now reached another level. You also have MIM chief Aswaddin Owaisi, who's also lashed out, asking, and I quote, who is the son of Godse? This comes after Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis stated that Aurangzeb's descendants have been born in Maharashtra.
महाराष्ट्र में अचानक कुछ जिलों में औरंगजेब की औलादें पैदा हुई है, जो औरंगजेब का फोटो दिखाते हैं, औरंगजेब का स्टेटस रखते हैं और इसके कारण एक दुर्भावना समाज में पैदा हो रही है और इसके कारण एक तनाव भी निर्माण हो रहा है. सवाल ये उठता है कि अचानक इतने औरंगजेब के औलादें कहां से पैदा हुई.
महाराष्ट्र के होम मिनिस्टर देवेंद्र फडणवीस बोले ये औरंगजेब की औलाद. अच्छा, आपको पूरे मालूम कौन किसकी औलाद है? आपको मालूम? मेरे को नहीं मालूम था, इतने एक्सपर्ट है आप. तो फिर ये गोडसे की औलाद कौन है? बोलो हमको. ये आपटे की औलाद कौन है? हमको बोलो.
आदरणीय देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी के बारे में अपशब्दों का इस्तेमाल करने के पहले वे स्वयं चिंतन करें कि भारत का दुश्मन मुल्क पाकिस्तान के टुकड़ों पर कौन पल रहा है. की छवि पूरे हिंदुस्तान में दुश्मन मुल्क पाकिस्तान की औलाद इस प्रकार से क्यों बनी है, इसका चिंतन कब करोगे?
Let's also now bring in our guest to try and understand why do we keep seeing Aurangzeb becoming a political narrative state after state. Political analyst Gargi Nandi Roy joining us on the broadcast from the NCP. We also have KJ Josman. Good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. Gargi, I'd like to begin the conversation with you. We're in 2023. Why does a dead Mughal ruler / emperor continue to garner headlines? Who's really benefiting from breaking up the Aurangzeb name?
I think, it's a big conspiracy. Otherwise, suddenly where this pops up from? And in the land of Shivaji Maharaj, somebody is glorifying Aurangzeb. The people who have gone behind the bars, they should be punished, who have put the posters, but they are juvenile. So there must be some brains behind them. Before the election year, they are doing it. In the land of Kolhapur, do they even know that it was the Battle of Kolhapur where the Marathas under Shivaji Maharaj defeated Adil Shahi forces and gained huge territories, and they continued the conquering of Adil Shahi territories there? And it is known for brilliant movement of flanks. So these people are dangerous, because what does Aurangzeb stand for? And really, we don't need to talk about him now. The sad part is that these youngsters are given Aurangzeb as the icon. They are not descendants of Aurangzeb. They share their ancestors with us, maybe 2 generations, 3 generations before they converted. And why the seniors who have taught them, say, I don't think they are responsible mainly. There are people behind who are not seen.
So who's fueling this fire? Who's fueling this fire?
So Aurangzeb stands for, give me 10 seconds, Aurangzeb stands for Hindu hatred, breaking of Hindu temples, including Kashi Vishwanath temple. And Aurangzeb stands for what? See, Aurangzeb was the one who ordered the beheading of Guru Tej Bahadur. Shambhaji Maharaj was
no, so Gargi, Gargi, I'm just trying to understand. You said somebody is fueling the fire. It is interesting the timing of when the Aurangzeb name is coming to light. No, Gargi, just help me understand. Let's go back 30 seconds. You said somebody is fueling the fire. People on the ground are not the ones, but there are people behind them. Who are you targeting? Who do you think is fueling the fire?
See, because since you also are not seeing them or their faces, I am not seeing them. But it is common understanding. There are people who can benefit because the election is next year. And I don't want to name anybody, but the opposition parties who have always done appeasement politics, maybe they are thinking that they can do polarization by this. And one more thing, AIMIM's president of Ahmednagar district, his name is Sarfaraz. He was seen also with Aurangzeb's poster when they were singing Baap to Baap. He was openly seen. So why is not Asauddin Owaisi talking about his own partyman in Ahmednagar who is glorifying Aurangzeb? People who glorify Aurangzeb have no place in this country. Those who glorified him wanted separate Pakistan and Bangladesh. They have gone there. So there is no place of Aurangzeb's glorification in our country now. So this is done
KJ Josman, do we agree that there is no need for glorification for somebody like Aurangzeb, who many feel was a bigot, was a tyrant? So why are we seeing him capture headlines? So help me understand. No, one sec. KJ Josman, help me understand who's benefiting from the Aurangzeb narrative. Today you had, one second, you had Sharad Pawar. One sec. I'm coming to you only. I'm just trying to understand who benefits from the Aurangzeb narrative. Today you had Sharad Pawar receiving a death threat. It was confirmed by Supriya Sule. Later in the day, Sanjay Raut and his brother also received death threats. Who do you think was behind it?
See, I'm just coming to that. Before that, just let me state that from 2014 onwards, our political discourse has witnessing a complete law where the political discourse, political discussion are highly personalized and defaming, demeaning the political leadership, senior political leadership. That is unfortunate, ill-advised. And as far as your question is concerned, the Maharashtra in last 3 months has seen 7 communal riots.
I cannot hear.
All of it is it because of Aurangzeb? No, they are just finding out some kind of pretext because they know that people has came to know that the government at center and government at state are
Gargi, we'll try and fix that audio for you.
Rhetoric.
Yeah, KJ, go ahead.
is just an empty rhetoric. And BJP and its allies, just like the Shinde Sena, they are just an institutionalized riot system.
Okay.
They don't have anything to cling to the power other than hate mongering. You can see it, now it is in Maharashtra and it's going to be replicated across the country.
Okay.
Because the government at center and government at state has failed to deliver anything.
Okay.
The price rise, the highest rate of unemployment, and they have failed in diplomacy, they have failed in national security. With 2014, they have delivered so many sweet dreams.
So you are saying the ruling dispensation is using the Aurangzeb narrative to their favor because they failed on their promises and they're using this as a diversionary tactic. Okay, unfortunately, I will... Okay.
A staggering election
I think
defeat
it is absolutely wrong. Diplomacy, we have seen the kind of respect and honor Modi ji received in the country to Australia.
Okay, unfortunately, I will have to leave that conversation there. The political war of words and name calling only increasing as far as the Aurangzeb row in Maharashtra is concerned. This is a story that we'll keep tracking very, very closely. For now, we're slipping into a very short.
Think that morally how we should raise our sons and how society can change the way of thinking of our boys, men.
Now, in such kind of relationships where there is an abusive partner, a sociopath or a psychopath, and these women are living for 3, 5, sometimes even 10 years, how could they not know? How could they not figure out that their partner is a psychopath?
Jaka, yes, they do know, but there is a battered wife syndrome also. That women also get used to these kinds of behavior of their partner, and that is the syndrome, and they really need counseling from a psychologist if they are going through it, because they are used to. These men, what they do is when they misbehave with the woman, the second time they will they will pardon themselves, they will say sorry, and they will again shower them with gifts and love them, and they take them back. Women take them. That is called battered wife syndrome. And many of our girls, even in Shraddha's case, we have seen that she was going through tough time with that boy, but still she was living with that person. It was because of that. They don't know that they have to go to a counselor, somebody and ask help. They don't know how to walk out of that relationship when they are beaten up or they are harassed mentally or physically.
One other thing that we've noticed, ma'am, is that oftentimes these kinds of victims of such harsh abuse, they are secluded away from their family, from their friends. They have no support system of any kind. What are the signs that one needs to pick up if somebody happens to be living in an abusive relationship, there is physical violence and so on? What should one look out for?
In every relationship, it is very, very important that a person has support system, whether from family or friends, and share their problems to the persons they are close to. But in Indian society, especially women don't, share their problems outside a relationship. They think that they have to protect that relationship from outside world. And even if that is abusive relationship, they don't share. So first thing is, if you are feeling that somebody is abusing you, even verbally, you should walk out of this and share it with your friends. It is very important because they will give you a suggestion, and family also need to support their children.
All right.
If they are supporting, these kinds of things will not happen. Earlier also I said, and many people disagreed with me, which is okay. But families need to support their children, even if they are having a live-in relationship. In that way, I think they will be able to share if they are going through any problem.
Okay, Rekha Sharma, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how this story plays out. This is, of course, the latest in a series of very, very violent crimes, almost inhuman crimes where not only is the victim, the woman in these cases, murdered, but also the body is disposed of in the most brutal of fashions.
The murder of Shraddha Walker sent shockwaves across the nation. Her partner Aftab murdered and then dismembered her body, dumping her parts in a nearby forest. Now, a similar horror has emerged from the Maximum City, where a 56-year-old man has been arrested for allegedly murdering his live-in partner and chopping her body into pieces.
There was a tree cutter, there was a saw cutter that was present inside the hall as well as the bedroom. There was a polythene, there was a black plastic which was put on the bed. Her hair were cut and kept there. There were parts of her leg which were being found by the cops.
इन्वेस्टिगेशन में ऐसा रिवील हो चुका था कि एक कपल था, लिव इन रिलेशन में रह रहा था उधर. उनका आइडेंटिफिकेशन हो चुका है. अक्यूज्ड को भी अरेस्ट किया गया. जो डेड बॉडी के पीसेस मिले वो एनालिसिस के लिए हमने जेजे हॉस्पिटल में भेजे हैं.
The accused, identified as Manoj Sani, was staying with 32-year-old Saraswati Vaidya. Decomposing body parts were found in the home, and the police say the murder could have occurred 2 to 3 days back. Police have recovered 13 body parts and are trying to find where the rest were dumped. As per the FIR, the police have recovered a tree cutter that was smeared with blood and say that human flesh was kept in a bucket near the kitchen. Sources say the accused used to boil the body parts in a cooker in an attempt to hide the smell, but the neighbors raised the alarm.
मैंने फर्स्ट टाइम इंटीमेट किया था, मतलब मेरे को स्मेल आई थी तो मुझे ऐसा लगा था कि हाँ कुछ इश्यूज है इधर, लेकिन मुझे लगा नॉर्मली कोई माउस चूहा मर गया रहेगा तो उसकी स्मेल आ रही, स्टिंग आ रही है. लेकिन 2 दिन कंटिन्यू आ रही थी. वो कैसे आ रही थी? आफ्टरनून और नाइट में आती थी, मॉर्निंग और इवनिंग में नहीं आती थी.
Forensic teams are trying to unearth more evidence, but the accused has floated a theory that Saraswati committed suicide and he did not want to be blamed for her death. The police is not buying it.
एक बंदा है मनोज सानी करके और उसकी वाइफ थी वह सरस्वती वैद्य करके. सरस्वती वैद्य की उसने हत्या की है और उसने उसका डिस्पोज ऑफ करने के लिए उसका पीसेस करने का ट्राई किया है, ऐसा प्राइमरी इन्वेस्टिगेशन में निष्पन्न हुआ है.
From Shraddha Walker to Saraswati Vaidya, both women targeted by their partners, then murdered in the most barbaric fashion and butchered to hide the evidence. The big question remains, what explains this mindset? Bureau Report, CNN News 18.
Before we open this up to our guests who will be joining us in a moment, I want to first go across to the chairperson of the National Commission for Women, Rekha Sharma. Thank you very much, ma'am, for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. We are seeing this again and again, whether it was Aftab and Shraddha here in Delhi, whether it is this Manoj Sani and Saraswati Vaidya in Mumbai. We are seeing the kind of depravity in behavior, almost like these are not human beings. This is almost like animal-like behavior. Why are we seeing this extreme depravity in crimes against women of late?
I think somehow morally.
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. Former United States President Donald Trump has been indicted in connection with the classified documents case. A federal court has approved 7 counts, one of which is a conspiracy charge. Trump has been ordered to appear at the Miami federal court on Tuesday, and there's speculation that he could be arrested once again. Remember, this is the second case in which Trump is facing criminal charges. Trump was indicted by a Manhattan grand jury in the month of March, also faces criminal charges in New York over hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. It spells more trouble for the former president, who, remember, is running for the post once again for 2024. CNN's Gloria Pazmino is now joining us from DC. Gloria, appreciate you joining us here this evening. First, help us understand, there is more trouble for the former US president. How many counts has the former president been indicted, and what are those counts and charges?
Yeah, it is a historic morning here in our nation's capital. The former president facing a federal indictment, the first time that's ever happened in American history. As you mentioned, Trump has already been indicted on 34 felony counts out of New York a couple of months ago. And now he's facing more charges, this time from a federal prosecutor set to take place in Miami. Now, I want to make it very clear, we do not yet have the details of that indictment because it remains under seal. What that means is that it hasn't been released to the public just yet. But we do know from our reporting, speaking to sources, and hearing from Trump's lawyer last night that the former president is facing at least 7 counts in this indictment. And as you mentioned, it includes a charge of conspiracy, falsifying documents, making false statements, destruction of records, and also the willful retention of defense information. That specifically is related to the Espionage Act. So these are very serious charges that the former president is facing. Former President Trump took to social media last night to announce the news himself, to say that he was expecting this indictment and that he expected to appear in a courtroom on Tuesday. Once again, we are preparing to see a massive logistical operation regarding security, the movements of a former president. This time, the setting will be very different. Trump lives not far from this Miami courtroom. He lives in the Mar-a-Lago state. So he would have to travel not very far, but this is definitely going to be a different setting, considering that there is a lot of support for the former president in the state of Florida.
I agree when you say it's going to be a logistical challenge come Tuesday. The question also is, will the former president be arrested on Tuesday?
Yeah, and we saw a lot of this with the New York indictment, whether or not the president would be put in handcuffs, whether there would be a mugshot of him. I want to point out that this is a federal proceeding, so a lot of the mechanics are similar. We don't know the details of the booking just yet, but what we do know is that usually a federal charge requires that a defendant provides a DNA sample. That is usually what is required from a defendant when they're charged at the federal level. But we also know that Trump will appear for what we usually refer to as a first appearance, a first hearing. He will be instructed of his charges, and he will be advised of his rights. Now, he is supposed to be treated like any other criminal defendant, but of course, this is a former president of the United States, a current candidate for the White House, so it creates a massive security challenge for the local and federal authorities. But we do expect him to go through this process once again, appear before a judge, be booked through the system, and be told of the crimes that he is being accused of.
Gloria, what I also essentially want to understand, this is something that you pointed out a short while ago, that this was in fact confirmed by Donald Trump himself. Vendetta politics seems to be a favorite term of the former president. How is he seeing his indictment? Does he feel this is going to cause a dent as far as his chances for 2024 are concerned?
Well, look, we are already seeing reaction both from supporters of Donald Trump and those who oppose him. But we do know from Trump's inner circle and our reporting that there are those who are close to the former president who believe that this will help them during the campaign season, that this will provide a boost in terms of fundraising and support as the campaign here in the United States really is just getting started. However, there are others in the Trump inner circle who acknowledge and recognize the seriousness of this indictment. These are federal charges, and some of these accusations, some of these crimes usually are almost guaranteed to result in prison time if a person is convicted. So they recognize that there is some very real risk in the long term, even if in the short term there might be a boost in terms of the support and the funding fundraising that he is going to get. Then they're certainly saying that they are prepared to put up a fight. Those who are close to the president have said that they are ready to fight back, and that is what we have been hearing from our sources in the last 12 hours or so.
So, sure. Gloria, lastly, before we let you go, how does this impact as far as the presidential race for 2024 are concerned? How do we expect the opponents using this? Because this is historic, a first-time indictment for any president.
Yeah, well, look, we've never been here before, and I should mention this is happening as other candidates have announced their campaign seeking the Republican primary nomination. Chris Christie announced just this past week, the former governor of New Jersey, and others have jumped into the race. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis also announcing his campaign just a few days ago. So, you know, the former President Donald Trump will not be precluded or stopped from continuing to seek the nomination because of this indictment. And even if we were to see a conviction, he does not have to stop running for the White House. It is obviously going to be a different question should we see a conviction in any of these cases. But this is a moment we have never experienced before here in the United States, having a candidate that has officially now twice been indicted, one in state court and today and this week in a federal court.
Yeah, Gloria, we appreciate you helping us with all those details. Thank you so much. We're now shifting our focus to some other breaking developments also coming in. We're now hearing from the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who in fact has gone on to say that Russia would place nuclear weapons in Belarus after the 7th or 8th of July. Let's bring in our colleague Abhishek Jha, who's joining us on the broadcast. Abhishek, any other details that you're picking up?
So the whole issue of Russia preparing to, place its nuclear weapon in Belarus in the wake of Russia-Ukraine war has been being talked about for a very long time now. But now when Russian president has clearly announced the days that it will be like a month from now, there will be nuclear weapons that will be put on deployment in Belarus. It's surely going to escalate the situation that has been going on for more than 1.5 years now. We have seen that West and NATO, they have said that Russia is trying to escalate the war at a nuclear level. In the past, we have seen Belarus being very supportive of Russian action in Ukraine. And the latest incident that has happened, that the dam blast on the Dnipro River, which has caused a huge deluge and flood in Kherson region across Ukraine and part of Russia also. That has been, people were anticipating that Russia could announce some major step in order to, ensure that its dominance on this whole war continues unabated. And this latest information that is coming from the Russian President House that Russia will be deploying nuclear arsenals in Belarus is surely going to escalate the war situation and also going to worry the West and the NATO allies of Ukraine.
Absolutely. Abhishek, the timing of when this announcement is coming is very crucial. One, because the war is still on. Secondly, it's coming at a time when Ukraine's counteroffensive has also begun. Now, Ukraine, we were understanding from a lot of experts, would want to focus on areas like Zaporizhia and others to try and cut off access for Moscow. With this announcement of Putin coming in, what does this then mean for the future of the ongoing war?
So one can assume that spring offensive of Ukraine was being planned for a very long time. In fact, Ukrainian authorities were saying that this latest dam damage has been an attempt to avert any upcoming offense from the Ukrainian side. But now when Russian president has clearly said that he will be having his nuclear arsenal deployed in Belarus against Ukraine and other probably NATO allies as well. So this clearly hints at Russia's all-out full frontal war against Ukraine, or any attempt to increase the assistance to the Ukraine from the NATO and West in order to, bring down the dominance of Russia, at least in those areas where Russia has already captured land in Ukraine. So if the Ukrainian side increases its offensive or attacks on the Russian facilities or Russian civilian infrastructure or the military infrastructure, then Russia will also leave no stone unturned to continue to dominate that area. And with the latest deployment of nuclear weapons, this is something that Russia wants to signal to the West and NATO allies of Ukraine.
Okay, Abhishek, we'll have to leave that conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us all those details. With that, It's a wrap from my side. News continues here on CNN News 18. Plain Speak is up next.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. A major storm has erupted after the Congress government in Karnataka declared that they will remove a chapter on RSS founder KB Hedgewar from class 10 textbooks. It's not technically a chapter on him, but a chapter that includes his writing. The decision was made by Siddaramaiah government as they had promised to revise the textbooks, remember, even during campaigning, and remove quote contentious chapters from school syllabus. But the controversy intensified after Congress MLC BK Hari Prasad called Hedgewar a coward. The BJP attacked the Siddaramaiah government, slamming them for disrespecting the RSS founder. Let me remind you that the chapter has an excerpt from Hedgewar's speech, and it was introduced by the Bomai government in 2021 for class 10 students who opted Kannada as their first language. The BJP had introduced these chapters as they believed that history was distorted by the previous Congress government, and those who weren't associated with the Congress itself were discarded from textbooks. Now, this continues to be a central battle between the two polities of India, in fact, world over. This particular part of history, the freedom movement, is a major battleground between the left and the right. The left has had near ironclad control over history in India since Nehru's times. Recently, a lot of scholarly work has been done, which has been hard to dispute, on several freedom fighters on the right side of politics who advocated for a more Hindu way of life and politics and future for India, especially post-independence. Most of these names, like Savarkar himself, have been much maligned and questioned. But recent academic work on their careers throws up a different outlook as well, that those who disagreed with the ways of Mahatma Gandhi and disassociated with the main movement led by the Congress were in no ways inconsequential to India's independence struggle. Have our history books, though, glorified only some and left out others? And have they glorified the chosen ones in ways where no criticism of their often faulty policies with disastrous consequences is allowed? Is it right to remove the chapter on RSS founder from textbooks in this context? We'll take that question to our guests in just a bit. Here's a breakdown of what's happened. The decision taken by the Karnataka Congress government has decided to remove these few chapters from school textbooks which were introduced by the previous government. The changes will be applicable from the current academic year itself, they say. A notification about the removal of the chapters and revision in syllabus will be issued within a week, is what we are told. And the decision was taken after a high-level meeting chaired by none other than Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. So which chapters would be dropped? Here's a breakdown. Excerpt of Hedgewar's speech in a chapter titled Good Role Model. The BJP says the chapter is not on him, but an excerpt on who makes a good role model from his speech. Many chapters written by Hindutva writer Chakravarti Sulibele, whose chapters titled Immortal Sons of India and Social and Religious Reformers sparked a controversy in the past. Congress has dismissed him as a WhatsApp university graduate. But that's not all. Chapters on Sanskrit scholar Bananjay Govindacharya might also be dropped. And let me remind you that B. Govindacharya was awarded Padma Shri by UPA government itself. Meanwhile, the Congress has also decided to review land allotted to RSS-affiliated organizations. The allotments done in last 4 to 5 months will be scrutinized by the Siddaramaiah government, so post-December 2022, in the last stretch of the Siddaramaiah government. The review of lands to RSS was also ordered by Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, which is something that leads the BJP to believe that this is not just about history alone, this is also about RSS per se. So this political war has broken out between the two parties, the BJP and the Congress. Here's a brief of what both are saying on Hedgewar, for example. The BJP says that Hedgewar is a founder of nationalism, but Congress has termed him a coward. BJP says the Congress government has disrespected RSS founder, but Congress claims that young minds were being corrupted because of this RSS ideology. BJP says that Congress removes whoever isn't part of their history or associated with them. But Congress says that let the BJP prove that Hedgewar was a freedom fighter first before any lesson on him is added. So let me tell you a little bit more about Hedgewar. He was born in a Telugu family in 1889 in Nagpur. He was popularly known as Dr. G and inspired by Shivaji. As a student, he was suspended from his school after he rebelled against the British. He was mentored by Congress affiliate and Hindu Mahasabha leader B.S. Munje, who had also later disagreed with Gandhi on his policies. In fact, Munje and others were more followers of the quote extremist faction of the Congress at the time. Fighters like Lala Rajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal, who wanted to employ more radical ways of fighting the British and throwing them out, versus the moderates of the Congress who wanted more dialogue, etc. Now, many leaders left the Congress because of this and because of this division. Hedgewar was in fact also in contact with Anushilan Samiti members, which was an anti-British revolutionary body, primarily by very young people. He joined the Congress in 1919 and participated in their activities. He was also jailed for a year for joining the non-cooperation movement. So he was very much actively a part of the freedom struggle. But he quit the Congress in 1923 amidst the differences over Gandhi's policies and support to the Khilafat movement and founded the RSS in 1925. So is it right to remove the RSS founder from the history textbooks, or even a chapter where he is talking about how to select a good role model or who is a good role model for young kids? We'll take that next with our guests.
BJP are so corrupt in their mind, which they wanted to infuse in the system of studies, which we are against it.
ಹೆಡ್ಗೇವಾರು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಸಾಬೀತು ಮಾಡಲಿ. ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಕೋರಿದಂತ ಈ ನಕಲಿ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಮಾನ್ಯತೆ ನೀಡದಿದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾರೋ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
आरएसएस देशवासियों को दिल में है, हृदय में है, वो हटा नहीं सकता. सिलेबस से हटा सकता है. वो जो लोग सत्ता में है उसकी वजह से सिलेबस से हटा सकता है, बट दिल से हटा नहीं सकता.
This is not an astonishing thing. When Siddaramaiah became the chief minister, every time chief minister takes his total administration is vendetta. Not only regarding education. You can see everything.